How's it going, peeps? I'm back in this video right here on YouTube.com. I wasn't doing this video at first, but I had to. After going on Twitter last night, seeing the energy and the passion from the wrestling fans, saying how great the Chamber was, how good it was, I had to watch it, but I had to kind of not watch a few things because last night you had so much going on. You had the mid-season premiere of The Walking Dead. I just became a huge fan of that show recently. And then you had the Grammys, and I was waiting for the tribute to Prince from Bruno Mars, and then of course The Time, they came on and did their thing, a band from the 80s. It was incredible. So I was kind of watching in between. So when I got off of work today, I just went back and I watched the whole show from top to bottom. And I want to say I really enjoyed this match. Not just the match, but just the pay-per-view in general. I will give them credit. Me giving WWE credit, I know, right? I really enjoyed this. I highly recommend someone to go back and watch this pay-per-view. But if I'm going to recommend something, this will be it. This was awesome. So without further ado, here's my Elimination Chamber 2017 review. So sit back, grab your popcorn, do whatever you want to do, and listen. Okay, first off, we were live from Phoenix, Arizona, Phoenix Suns, Charles Barkley's territory. Anywho, it starts off between the last kicker and the future Hall of Famer Mickie James in a one-on-one match stemming from their feud when Mickie screwed over Becky Lynch in her title match with Alexa Bliss and cost her the championship in that cage match, which she got her revenge, getting her the roll-up pin after Mickie countered, she countered Mickie from her signature DDT move and pinned her 1-2-3. So that was over, and then you get this panning of a skybox with James Ellsworth and Carmella watching the show from their skybox, and James Ellsworth, man, I hope he's involved in a match somehow and he gets kicked in the testicles or hit in the face with that look on his face, whatever. I can't wait for that. But moving on, you had a match which was a handicap match with Kalisto and Apollo Crews versus Dolph Ziggler, a new heel Dolph Ziggler, stemming from Daniel Bryan when he made that rule. I didn't really see SmackDown that much, but apparently he had a rule where he wanted them to face Dolph Ziggler after his antics of attacking Kalisto and Apollo Crews. So my thing is that I'm all for a heel Dolph Ziggler, but in my opinion, you don't really need a heel Dolph Ziggler. Give him some more edge to him. You know, he has to have that edge. You know, just because you're a babyface does not mean you have to go around, kids. No, just, okay, I'm a good guy, but don't mess with me. It can be like that. That's cool. There's nothing wrong with that. However, Dolph does not play the heel role very well in this particular instance. He was getting cheered more, and the attire he had was a USA attire, which is cool. But he didn't get the right heel heat only because he had a bad babyface to work with, and I mean Apollo Crews. Before the match, after Kalisto came out, Dolph attacked him from behind, so it was basically just a one-on-one match between him and Apollo Crews. So, with that, it was just pretty much a match that got no response. Apollo Crews, I mean, I wasn't very high on him at first. I mean, I saw his athleticism, but my thing is, where's his character at? I mean, at least Kalisto has more character to him because he got over with the lucha, you know, stuff like that. So you understand when it comes to Kalisto, you know, he got over in NXT and he's over now. But from that perspective, I think Dolph was actually getting cheers after he attacked those two after the match. I mean, he lost the match, but in the end, he got his revenge. So the crowd was chanting yes, yes when he was attacking Apollo Crews, as well as Kalisto with a steel chair, which that shows to show that you can't make him heel against babyfaces that aren't really likable. Kalisto is, but Apollo Crews isn't. So, moving on, you had your tag team turmoil match, including Rhino, I keep saying that, Heath Slater, the Vaudevillains, Fandango and Tyler Breeze, the Usos, and the Ascension, of course with American Alpha. So, the match started off with Rhino and Heath Slater coming out, beating the Vaudevillains. First Tyler Breeze and Fandango, and then the Vaudevillains, and then the Usos came out. I love the Usos' new edge. Their edge is awesome. It reminds me of their dad back in 2000 where he ran over Stone Cold Steve Austin and had that Badman theme. You know, they have that attitude. I like that about them. That's so cool with them, you know, and it can actually work. And this faction can be run by a heel Roman Reigns, yes. Can you imagine their attitudes coming to the ring nonchalant? I don't care, I want to take somebody out. And they pretty much pinned Rhino and Curtis Axel. They owned them and got them. And then at the end of the match, when they were facing American Alpha, it came down to those two. But after the American Alpha eliminated the Usos just attacked them. relentlessly, and then they left them for the Ascension to come out, but the American Alpha actually beat the Ascension. So you're like, man, but I feel so bad because for as high as they were, they didn't get those NXT crowd chants like they did before. They're in Phoenix, Arizona. Come on. So my thing is that the crowd should have been more behind them, but that's why I say get someone on their side, get in a Kurt Angle who can accompany them to the ring for a few moments, for a few pay-per-views. That would be nice to get them over with. Have a great talker in him to cut some funny zingers. Be their temporary manager just to get them over more so. That way they can have more of an edge to them. But I know they'll be fine because in Orlando, that's a wrestling city. So of course they're going to get behind them regardless because that's home of NXT and home of the Impact Zone and home of so many other wrestling I think Florida Championship Wrestling is down there, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. But anyway, they'll be fine in Orlando. So they'll be good. Moving on to the match. I want to say, what was the next match? I'm so off with this. The next match was, I want to say Randy Orton and, yes, Randy Orton. And, of course, it was Natalya. Gosh, that's so bad. Natalya and Nikki Bella. Okay, it's awesome because I never thought I'd be behind Nikki Bella, but I like the feud. They showed the build-up between those two. It was going back and forth. They incorporated the John Cena thing. Natalya with their evil promo when it came down to you get old and ugly and John's gonna leave you, and she did all that. I'm like, man, that was nice, and this feud felt like it meant something. So much heat and tension behind it. It was just incredible. I'm like, man. And then they were going back and forth. That match was nice. See, Natalya knows how to be a heel. That's getting heel heat. Unlike the women on Raw, from what I hear, at least when it comes to Natalya, she did a great job as a heel. The crowd was booing her. And normally they wouldn't like Nikki Bella, but now they're actually on Nikki Bella's side. And of course she has that. She's been getting cheers after her neck surgery and her recovery. But now Natalya is such a great heel. Now she's going after her, and now the fans are hating her for that, and I love that. It's nice to see that again when it comes to women's wrestling. A natural, great heel. And Natalya was great. I just hated that. I love the match. I just did not like the finish. And I know that, of course, they'd be behind Nikki because they're in Phoenix, Arizona, and she's from Arizona. Is she? Yeah. But anyway, the false finish with the count out, but afterwards they had their little brawl back and forth. I like that. It was very well done. They started brawling later on the night as well, which is nice. This should be a potential match for WrestleMania. We'll see. The rumor is that it should be between Miz and Maurice versus John Cena. I don't want them to do that because the way things are going, it looks like they're going to have the Miz face Daniel Bryan possibly, and I'll explain that later on. But for right now, solid match, not too bad. And then the match that I really enjoyed coming up right here was Randy Orton versus Luke Harper. They played the video package of them playing off of Luke Harper, getting a little upset and a little left out when Orton joins the Wyatt family, which was weird to me. It was different, but you saw the way Luke Harper was looking at him when Bray Wyatt would compliment him. You can tell there was a little bit of dissension right there. So they were going back and forth, and they were bickering. They were the tag team champions, and of course, that little mishap cost them that, and they had their little dissension. Why keep saying ascension? Everyone, they had their issues. So then later on, let's have a match. And boy, this match delivered. Big guys can do some damage too. But Luke Harper, this guy for his size, he is very athletic. He's very agile. He's very quick. Man, this guy can go. And the story between them all, I love the story because that's how it was going into it. There was an actual story. That's what you do. You tell a great story before a match and during a match. Who was the better man and why were they doing that? And I love that. They were just going back and forth the entire night. It was an up in the air kind of match. Of course, you want Orton looking strong going into Mania since he won the Royal Rumble. But you thought he was going to lose this match. The match was nice. It went off back and forth. They had some nice spots. Nice in-ring presence. It was just a great all-around match. Orton picks up the victory with an RKO, of course. And that's how it went. And then you had the SmackDown Women's Championship match between Naomi and, as people like to say online, the ass that runs the class, Alexa Bliss. Don't ask me. I just heard that online one day. I saw it. Somebody said that. I'm like, that should be nice. But anyway, the match, Naomi came out with her awesome, something that gets her over, which before, coming from being a former Funkadactyl, and her athleticism is pretty impressive, but she had nothing to go on until she started doing this entrance when it came to like the glow sticks and the body glow and dancing. She did a great job with this intro. I love her intro. And she had a match between her and Alexa Bliss, and it was going back and forth. Alexa did this little like temper tantrum thing when Naomi kicked out of her DDT. And then last night when I was on Twitter all night, so I was trying to catch everything at the same time, right? And then I saw the memes of people doing The Simpsons where they were rolling around going, mocking Alexa Bliss. That was pretty funny. But and then Naomi, she went for a finisher, that moonsault, and then Alexa Bliss countered it and got a roll-up pin and put her feet on the ropes. Then the ref saw it and then didn't count it. Then Naomi did a move to her, did her like a splitting moonsault, and then pinned her 1, 2, 3. I was surprised. My pick, I did not expect Naomi to win. Of course, last night I saw it on Twitter, and then I was like, man, she won it. That's nice. And of course, it makes sense because she's from Orlando, and that's where she's going to WrestleMania. That's my thing too. I really enjoy that because she's going to get treated very well in Orlando. That's, like I said, that's a great wrestling city to have a WrestleMania in. There are real fans out there in Orlando. I mean, not just in, because, that's kind of like the southern part of it. Because most of the hardcore fans are in the East Coast, like New York, Philadelphia, Jersey, all those places. But when it comes down to the South, Orlando is a great wrestling city. So moving on to the match that we've all been waiting for. This chamber match, wow. My favorite match from the Elimination Chamber was in 2002 where it came down to Shawn Michaels and Triple H, and Shawn Michaels came back from his injury after being out for 4 years, after having that awesome match with Triple H at SummerSlam. Then you had, what was it? What was the Elimination Chamber match? I know it was made in 2003, right? Or 2002, when Eric Bischoff came out to be the general manager. I almost said GM. However, when that match happened, they came down to those two, Shawn Michaels and Triple H, and that was my favorite chamber match. This right here is not far behind that. This match, Let the Bodies Hit the Floor, man, that match was awesome. I highly recommend you to go watch this chamber match. It's one of the best chamber matches I've ever seen. You will enjoy it. It was fun to watch. I'm telling you, bodies were flying everywhere. They had so many great spots. They were going back and forth. And then, of course, later on in the match, when it came down to the big three, with being, actually 4. I can't count, it was 3 actually. But before that, it was The Miz. It was the final 4 with The Miz, Bray Wyatt, John Cena, and AJ Styles. Of course, when you saw The Miz, he was doing Daniel Bryan's moves with the corner kicks, and then he was doing the yes chant, and then he kept doing like Daniel Bryan's kicks to the chest, his multiple kicks to the chest, and then his running drop kick. So I'm like, are they hinting a match between Miz and Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania 33? That should be interesting. Wow, that would be awesome. They should do that. That would be fun to do. However, my thing is that if they do it, they have to do it big. They should have that match instead of having the tag team match between Nikki Bella and the rumored match between Miz and Maurice. That doesn't sound good, but this one sounds better because the build-up was better with Daniel Bryan and The Miz because of those talking smack segments, those yelling back and forth promos was nice. I mean, it's a great build-up. But anyway, back to this chamber match. When I heard about, someone was telling me in my last video about Cena will not face Orton, he might face Bray Wyatt, and I'm like, will they let Bray Wyatt win the championship? And they actually did. When he hit that Sister Abigail on John Cena and pinned him 1, 2, 3, I expected him to kick out of it. But the crowd was on fire. I'm like, man, Bray, alright, man. Because Bray Wyatt is one of my favorite current day wrestlers. I have my top 5, and AJ Styles and Bray Wyatt are on the list. For so many reasons why. Okay. And then him and AJ Styles had a nice exchange back and forth. Then he hit AJ Styles and Sister Abigail and then pinned him 1, 2, 3. I was like, wow. Oh gosh, before I get into that, they had one last segment with James Ellsworth and Carmella in the skybox, where James Ellsworth kicked the interviewer out, and James Ellsworth, man, this guy. Anyway, moving on. I want to say I was impressed. Bray Wyatt, it's about damn time. I've been very high on you for years. When people were with you as Husky Harris, and when you came out with that Bray Wyatt gimmick, you were one of my favorites. When you had that momentum in 2014 where they screwed you over with John Cena getting the win and kicking out of Sister Abigail at WrestleMania 14, I did not like that at all. That pissed me off because you had so much momentum, and that was the Royal Rumble before you beat Daniel Bryan, where you had momentum going into Mania. for them to ruin it for having John Cena. And then the year before that, why they kept you off of TV for a long ass time for no logical reason. You had some injuries, but they kept you off of TV. I'm very proud of you, Bray Wyatt. You know, one of my favorite current day wrestlers you are. So I give you much credit. I'm glad you're the champion. My thing is that my whole gripe with this pay-per-view is two things. I already mentioned the whole Ziggler thing, so that was my only gripe. But my thing is that why not have AJ Styles just go on to keep the championship at the Rumble and then drop it to Bray Wyatt in the Chamber match? Why have John Cena just win it just to keep it for 2 weeks and drop it in the Chamber? You know, if you're going to tie Ric Flair's record, why not do it big and have it monumental at a Mania or something? That would make more sense than to have it at a Rumble and then drop it to somebody else in 2 weeks' time. I mean, because that's just weird to me. But, like I said, being a Bray Wyatt fan, I'm not complaining. I'm just wondering why they didn't do that. So, this pay-per-view, I give it my rating would be a B+. That's as high as I'm going to go. Because as very entertaining as it was, they had some low points. But I like how they set up some feuds. There's a potential Dean Ambrose, Baron Corbin feud. There's an American Alpha Uso feud. Man, and going into that, there could be an awesome feud with that. Because the Usos, they're a great heel faction now. They're a great heel tag team. And they can have so many possibilities with them. I love their edge. I love the fact that they change their outfits. They don't come out doing their signature Samoan New Zealand dance. They just come out just like them. And I like that. You know, this match, this pay-per-view was pretty impressive. So, I highly recommend the Chamber match. Go back and watch it. This is the Chamber match to go back and watch. So, give me your thoughts and comments about what you thought about the pay-per-view from top to bottom, because I really enjoyed it. Thanks for watching my video. If you're new to this channel, hit the subscribe button, like, comment, and have a nice night. Later.